Okay, so after my first 1,000 hours in the game, I did a recap, and here comes another 1,000 hours. But not to repeat myself, I'll start from where I left off back then. Right then, the 2.4 update came about, and with it, it brought us some nice things like Chieftain, and later on, the stupidest ship in the game called Type 10. And even some Targoid stuff. Finally, after years of blueballing lore buffs, developers had released those ever-elusive Targoids for us to poke and prod. People seemed very excited, and rightfully so. And finally you could say that there was some kind of story happening in the game, aside from random vague puzzles and vague paragraphs in random station news. But with 2.4 arrival, it was interesting for me to see the developers just can't wait to push microtransactions onto their customers. You know, putting the cart before the dead horse. You know, jumping the gun on the update and releasing said cosmetics for Chieftain before the ship was even playable while the servers were patching. You might think that this is a small nitpick, but to me it just showcases the avarice that comes with any new release these days. And I don't want to have this with the space game I enjoy. I want to support devs for making something good, but only after they delivered it. You know, how typically things should work. But that aside, the 2.4 update was so-called story-oriented update, so that would imply that not many things would get added to the game during this update. And later in Frontier Expo they announced the Beyond series that would also go back to the core gameplay as a season. So for a year and some months, not much would be made for the game. Yeah, good to know I guess, but did the Jurassic Bork game was so important to stall the development of Elite? Oh, okay, I guess it was. Yay, money! Now, Frontier is a company, and making money is what companies are about, so we can only hope that Jurassic Bork will boost Elite's development in turn, but that is to be seen. As for the Frontier Expo, though it's not strictly talking about my gameplay experiences in the past 1,000 hours, it still happened during that time. So yeah, I was visiting UK and seeing so many fans and even talking to devs. All that was just absolute joy, I must say. And now that I think of it, in the last 1,000 hours of my gameplay time, during that time I also visited Pax East and fan meetup in US there too, which, aside from traveling annoyances, was actually quite awesome. Oh right, and I also went back to UK for LaveCon during this time. And mind you, I'm a person that doesn't really like to travel. As I reflect on the content I've created and things I've done in the last 1,000 hours of my gameplay in Elite, I gotta say, it's been absolute joy if I repeat myself once more. And the growth of the fanbase has been even better than that. For all the faults of the game and sodomizing shit I give to devs, community stands tall over every annoyance I might put forth. Yes, even you forum dads, I love you too. But if we're talking about the game, now Horizon Season DLC expansion Satanic Afterbirth Dripping Fetus has finally concluded and can die in a fire. Beyond Season is the new pretty town bicycle around and comes with Horizons. So now the game is called Elite Dangerous Horizon Season Pass Beyond Series Chapter whatever. Seriously, if there's one thing that lacks in Frontier Development's its marketing department that has a little bit of imagination, not an empty skull. Now, I'm one of the content creators in the community, and when I get asked to explain this shit, I often much rather give the person a picture of a dumpster fire than try to explain this stupid name and how does it work. I'm seriously afraid to see what sort of a mess I'll see after 3,000 hours of my playtime. And speaking of marketing and ads and stuff, this must be addressed. So a little while ago, a contest concluded on so-called Design Your Holo Ad, where Frontier asked the community to make potential ads for the game, and winners would get their ads put in the game. Yep, that's it. No actual rewards, no nothing. At least that's what was written in the contest forum thread. This sort of a thing is disgusting to see from a company that could easily give out paint jobs or other digital media with no loss of money for them. How cheap do you have to be? Oh, and of course, winners also give their copyrights to the company. So yeah, not a single mention of a proper reward, just asking for free art. That's just shameful and probably the most disgusting and disturbing thing the company has done in a while. Then, as they announced the winners, not to look like complete wankers, they actually added one community prize pack that the winner would choose for the real prize. Now, I could go on and on about exposure, aka working for free, but if you do it out of your sheer goodwill, it's fine. You do you. But asking people to do it, now that's where I take an umbrage, especially for a company that can afford this crap. Besides, a paint pack as a reward. Really? That's all you're gonna give to people? It includes what, maybe 1 or 2 skins and 2 decals? Really? Is that worth the free art? Oh, and here's a better question. Are the art guys in the company really that lazy or sparse that you have to do this? I just can't. Well, anyways, moving on then. If we talk about the Beyond series and the state the game is in, okay, you want to go back and fix the quote-unquote basics, rather than introducing new things because you're short on coding monkeys. Alright, fine, it's fine, honestly. I wouldn't mind if it all was just quality of life improvements. Seriously, I would be happy to see a patch with nothing but these sorts of changes, unless they are bad ones and more perplexing than the existing things. And no, material traders are not a fix in the slightest. What material traders are a bandage over an internally exploded liver. That's how useless it is at fixing material issue for the game. Still, overall I gotta say, in my 2000 hours, developers' showing of their work has been rather disappointing. Well, maybe aside from Targoid Interceptor boss fight. But even that, as challenging as it may be, gets old quickly. As said, quality of life is needed more than new content, and I really want to see refinement of the game rather than another gimmick or uselessly applied medkit. To be honest, in my last 1000 hours I spent more time filming than actually playing the game, but even with that I've seen some interesting things, places, and even played the game quite a bit. The game hasn't changed that much, and it's as immersive as you'd expect with all the space magic physics, bugs, and sound. Frankly, only the tech brokers and material traders have pissed me off, while Targoid boss fight probably has been the most interesting test of skill for me thus far. As for the future, well, I'm sure I'm gonna get to 3000 hours just filming things, obviously, but even with that, Elite still has a few things to offer me at least. Still, that's me. But how about you? My dear viewer, how do you feel about the game? Well, maybe not after 2000 hours, but perhaps 1000 or even 500 hours if you've gotten that far. Do let me know what are your ups and downs in the comments. But as for the video, well, feel free to share it around, dislike or like, and subscribe if you did.